Well, you know, you can't build this up any more than it's already built up. It feels like a world heavyweight fight, a pay-per-view event, 100 million people probably going to watch this thing. And just what should we expect? What do Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump need to do to not only satisfy their own bases, but to win over skeptics? And believe me, there seem to be a lot of skeptics out there. Let's bring in Republican Congressman Marsha Blackburn, Michael Warren at the Weekly Standard, and Joe Concha, media reporter for TheHill.com. Representative Blackburn, I got to start with you. I know you're a Donald Trump supporter. Everyone's excited. Donald Trump's got all the momentum coming in here. But what about expectations, and what does he have to deliver?
I think he has to deliver some specifics tonight and show that he is going to approach this in a presidential manner and the expectations of the American people. He's right on taxes. He's going to simplify it. She's going to complicate it. He's right on immigration. He's going to secure the border. She would open it up. And when it comes to national security, he says, I've got a plan to defeat ISIS. He'll talk about that, and she just really can't seem to define our enemy. So I think the choice is going to be pretty clear. The American people want specifics, and tonight he'll deliver.
You know, Michael, a lot of people are saying Donald Trump just has to come in, be civil, show that he's presidential, and that will be enough because the bar is low. Representative Blackburn saying, no, he's got to go a little bit further than that. He's got to inform the people and let them know that he knows his stuff. Where do you see this playing out?
I don't know if he has to go that far. I think he really has to stick with what he's been doing the last several weeks, which is stick to his message. And it's a very simple message, and it's a very, I think, possibly even winning message, showing where the polls have been going in the last couple of weeks, which is it's time for a change. I represent a change. Hillary Clinton is the past, and it's the same old status quo. So he's got to do that, and he's got to be able to not get knocked off of that message, which Hillary Clinton may very well be trying to do tonight to get him a little angry. I mean, 90 minutes is a long time, and you can only
Michael, and I'm glad you brought that up, Michael. Let me just ask you. I mean, 90 minutes. Can you say quite simply, I'm going to bomb the heck out of them. I'm going to make things different. What do you have to lose? Can you say those things over and over again for 90 minutes? Won't he be lured into or even be forced to go a little bit more beyond the sound bites?
Yeah, that's a challenge for Donald Trump. Remember, he was facing, at most 16 other candidates on 2 separate debate stages, at the very least 5 or 6. When it's just one-on-one, that's not something we've seen Donald Trump experience. But on the other hand, Hillary Clinton has to be careful here, I think, with sounding too condescending. If she, just goes rat-tat-tat-tat-tat with facts too much, I think it could make her look like a little presumptuous.
Let me bring in Joe Concha, guys, because Joe, this whole presidential debate thing went to a whole different level when it was Richard Nixon and JFK, and apparently people who listened to the debate on the radio thought Richard Nixon won. The TV element, though, he looked horrible on television. He, you know the old saying, never let him see you sweat. So what's more important from your angle? Is it who can enunciate and articulate policy, or who really looks the part, who really can sway the audience? Because if that's the case, it feels like Donald Trump's got a major advantage.
Well, you make a great point about Nixon. He's not a man like me or you wearing makeup right now and had our hair done before we went on. It's very important, and he sweat, but you're right, the radio people thought that he had won that debate. By the way, this is the anniversary of that debate. It happened, I'll go all chef on you, 56 years ago today. But here's the thing about Trump, and Michael makes a great point. He has gained in the polls over the last 6 weeks, has erased Hillary Clinton's lead. It was about 8 points in the Real Clear Politics average of polls, right? He's done so because he's been teleprompter Trump, and primarily has stayed on message as a result of doing that. No teleprompters here tonight. So this will be the ultimate test, Charles, of his discipline. Can he stay on message without words written form and not be baited by Hillary Clinton into a temper tantrum? If he maintains his control, he wins the debate.
Representative Blackburn, I've always said that, listen, first of all, you were my choice for Donald Trump's VP, number one. So you've got, to me, the perfect temperament for a politician with respect to not only articulating the messages, but also bringing policy into a position where the average person can understand it. And a lot of people think Hillary Clinton is going to go out there and be sort of the class dork, and that will turn people off.
Well, there is that expectation that she is going to go recite facts and figures, and she's pre-rehearsed her answers. You know what happens with that when you pre-rehearse your answer? If you forget your lines, you're in a pickle. And that is going to be difficult for Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is going to lay out some more specifics, just as he has done with his plan for the military, as he's done with his tax plan. People do want to know a little bit more of the path he is going to take. And I'll tell you, Charles, I think it's going to be difficult to see how Hillary does. If she has a coughing spasm, if she is losing her voice, if she has a tendency to look as if she's fading, I don't think that is going to serve her well. It gets back into that perception of what happened in the Nixon-Kennedy debates, and people thought he won it when they listened. When they watched, they said, oh, Kennedy, hands down. And a picture's worth 1,000 words many times. That is going to play into this tonight, along with their presence in the policy.
By the way, I want to let the audience know Governor Mike Pence has just arrived as well. So all the chess pieces are getting ready. You can feel the anticipation. I love it. You know, Joe, picking up on what Representative Blackburn said, some are saying Donald Trump has a low bar with respect to just being a gentleman. Others are saying that even though it has nothing to do with policy, it has nothing to do with experience, Hillary Clinton would have a problem if she coughs a couple times. Now, is that fair or not?
Marsha made a great point there, that a couple of coughs, I'm saying one or two, fine, clear your throat. But if, like we saw in Cleveland a couple of weeks ago, that will be the narrative tomorrow. Remember Al Gore in 2000 kept sighing. No one remembers what was said during that debate.
Sighing goes to, you know,
condescension.
Sort of, yeah,
right.
Condescending.
This goes to a health problem.
Right. And this is something that obviously was a big time in the news just a couple of weeks ago. It lingers in our minds. It doesn't weigh heavily necessarily when pollsters ask about it. But if she looks weary up there, that could be devastating.
It could be, Charles. And remember, she canceled some public events last week. And people say, well, it was for the debate prep. Was it? Are we sure about that? In the middle of a campaign, you're not out there in front of people? You can't do a rally and then study on the plane on the way back? I don't know. That raised some eyebrows, at least for me, considering what happened to 9/11 and the collapse she had going into that day.
Michael, let me ask you about the conundrum being the first major woman for a major political campaign. We've seen Hillary Clinton go out there before during periods of this campaign where she was sort of a bulldog, where she really was tough. And even with the Matt Lauer sort of commander-in-chief thing, people felt she was a little bit too rough. I mean, is she in an impossible position to be soft and ladylike and yet commander-in-chief at the same time?
Look, this is sort of highlights the problem that Hillary Clinton faces, which is she has all these sort of competing expectations for her, and in many ways it's a little unfair, but on the other hand, she sort of set herself up for it. I think she's got to show a command of the facts, which she will certainly be able to at least portray herself as having, but I really think that her ultimate goal tonight really ought to be to reveal the real Donald Trump, the Donald Trump that we ended up seeing in a lot of those primary debates, where he would get a little sluggish in the middle of the debate, or he would get a little bit feisty and maybe say some things that embarrassed himself and the party. I think if Hillary Clinton can do enough baiting for that, then she will have succeeded at least partially in what she has to do, and sort of revealing the real Donald Trump. And
to be fair, some of those Republican debates felt like they dragged on forever, and so I can see why anyone would have gotten testy. Joe.
Yeah, final one point to make. Disadvantage for Donald Trump, Charles, is that the crowd cannot make noise. They can't cheer, they can't boo. He normally feeds off of those situations. It will be dead silence unless Mark Cuban does something stupid tonight. All right.